Yeah, man. So we just started recording. And so you were saying that, yeah, I'm sorry, like I've just done 4 recordings in 4 hours. So now I'm like feeling confident and shit. So how have you been, man?
Absolutely fantastic, man. I miss talking to you. It's been a while. It's been a while since we just sat down and opened it all up, shared it all as it is. It's
Do you
been a
still do
while.
the daily thing, the daily pod?
We do very rarely. We switched almost everything to YouTube. So that's where
Oh,
the Roy is, as they say. It's pretty
interesting.
much, yeah.
Because it seems like, yeah, I mean, I'm not on X for Roy, for ROI for sure. But I see a lot of people go on YouTube. Like Mark Lou was probably the first one to make it big, and then Nico, and then. So how is it for you, YouTube?
It's very difficult. It's one of the most difficult platforms to have steady growth, and that's because nothing happens with the first few videos you make. It's just you're shouting in the void, and the algorithm doesn't care about you.
Hmm.
So before something actually happened for us, I think we posted, I don't know, 40 videos or something, and they were all, under 1K views. It's
Yeah.
just brutal. It's brutal to get to it. And that was because so now I realized that the type of content we made was not good for YouTube. The podcast content does not work on YouTube. You need to do something entertaining. It's all about entertainment. It's all about you either go full blown into lifestyle, or if
Hmm.
that doesn't work, tutorials, stuff like that.
So what
So
you
it's
change?
we changed to teaching, to explaining how to build things, explaining new trends, stuff like that. And after I think more than 1 year, we finally got like one video that hit it. It's not crazy, but I think it was over 50K views, right? And got us a lot of subscribers. And it seems like now it's rolling. Now it's on a good track. And I think the difference is
Yeah.
I think we know what we have to do now. And before it was just okay, let's try this. And next week let's try another thing, and let's try another thing. You know what I mean?
So wait, I wasn't recording when you gave me that idea. So you were saying that I should just
Yours
do something
use your
chill?
sexy voice. I just
Oh,
lost my voice and I gotta get it back. Okay, it's back.
oh my God,
Use
yeah.
your sexy voice to record audio content, like ASMR type, like just
ASMR for like indie hackers or some shit.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
exactly. Like you read
You will have a sale today. You will have
exactly. Yeah,
$29 MRR at the end of the week.
yeah.
Some
Look
shit
at
like that.
look at Mark Lou's MRR chart. Look at this go up and
Yeah.
up. Yeah, and you just it just keep going for half an hour.
That would
I'd
be
pay for
fun. I
that
mean,
shit.
I don't see how I make money, but yeah. Like I see a hockey stick in your future. Yeah, some shit like that. Okay. Something that's almost like, uh like a pun, like not you don't know if it's sexual or not anyway.
Yeah, exactly,
Uh
exactly. Like you're always guessing, okay, is it sexual now or is it still the chart that he's talking about,
yeah. Man, I lose so many followers every time I make a sexual tweet. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, that's your brand now. You cannot run from it. What you mean? That's
Yeah,
that's
but I also get more people who are like, oh, at least this guy, he talks his real shit. Dmitro the other day, Dmitro Krasun from
one. Yeah.
Screenshot One. He was like sending me my tweet, which I will not talk about here. And he said, dude, if it wasn't you, I would block or mute immediately. Like, and to be
I
honest,
love
I
this
don't know
guy.
why people do that because I don't mind this shit. And what people maybe
Oh.
don't know, like I was raised, like the first words my dad taught me was, and my dad, I don't have a good relationship with him, but like when I was a kid, he was still around. And the first thing he taught me was like the worst insults. Like I was like the first things I knew when I was with kids, I was saying the worst slur to them because that's what I learned. And my dad was always telling this story that one day I came back from school and other kids taught me like an insult, like a slur. And I came and I say to my dad, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Poop," you know? And and I was saying things like asshole or, shit like that. And they had taught me, poop, and I thought that was scary. So, and he thought it was fun. So yeah, so I make lots of tweets like that, sadly, still.
Yeah. It's some stuff that we learn as kids kind of stick with us, huh?
But it's cool. Like we all have our brands, and if you don't have, I mean, it's such a fucking basic thing to say, but if nobody hates you, I guess maybe you're not being yourself enough or something.
That's something to think about. Yeah. Then
you're
too
very
soft,
kind because it sounds kind of like a bullshit Instagram post, but
no. It's like you didn't take enough risks, right? And if you don't take risks, you don't.
I think a lot of us, and me, I was doing that for so long. Man, we're going such far away from your product right now, but we'll see how we land. But I was so far away from, like I was always calculating everything when I was tweeting. It was always like that for a long time, which helped me grow a lot. But now I'm like, and that's Kanye West, who I guess is very controversial, who says, what's the point of being rich and famous? I'm not rich and famous, but what's the point of being rich and famous if you cannot say what you want, Or like, what's the point of having fuck you money if you don't say fuck you, So that's the same thing. Like, what's the point of having this audience if you cannot be yourself? What's your point of having a platform if you don't say what you want? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That's how you get into burnout, right? You kind of fake it so much that you don't believe in yourself anymore. You just say, "Oh, this is not me," and then you just end up not doing it, and that's it. It's the end.
Yeah, last year when I came back from my burnout, I was still trying to do memes, which I'm not that interested into anymore, and I was like forcing it, and it didn't feel good. So yeah, man. So back to you, because this is about you. How did you become? Oops. Oh my God. If this mic disconnect again, I'm so fucked.
You're good. Okay. You're good. All good.
How did you become an indie hacker?
It's a pretty simple story. One day, I worked as a freelancer a lot. And one day it just dawned on me that people are paying me a bunch of money to write software, to write web apps. And they're clearly making a profit on this. And why am I not doing that part instead? Why am I not building the entire thing and just get, the end of the stick, and then they get the full thing? How hard can it be, right?
That's how we start with. I started by having a job and saying, wow, I'm so much better than everybody else at this company. Why do I not make all the money?
Yeah. So some sort of arrogant bullshit, right? Because that's...
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of it. If you look at it at the core, like, what's so special about these guys? They know some marketing and sales, whatever. I build the thing, I can do it too. And it turns out that was the easy part. The hard part is selling that stuff. So yeah. And from there I just kept trying. I think...
How long ago was that you started?
So the story with the first startup is maybe 7 years ago. I failed completely with that on a personal level. And then I went back to freelancing. And then 3 years ago, I went completely on my own. The startup wasn't on my own. It was with partners and, kind of traditional startup, multiple people, putting some money down, stuff like that. So 3 years ago, I just said, I want to do it on my own and without all the startup bullshit, just, build in public, traditional, bootstrap product, no investment, no nothing. And I've done maybe 10 things since then. And maybe the one that I'm going to talk about is it. Maybe not. It's still early, but it is the most promising that I've had so far. And
it's touching. I can feel the hope in your voice.
I mean, you kind of lose it, man. After you
Yeah.
do so listen. A lot of the things are successful by a lot of measures, but I think the ego plus greed combination makes me sometimes say, yeah, it's not much. But of course, by a lot of measures, a lot of the stuff that I've built is
Yeah,
successful, and
yeah.
maybe it's a matter of perspective, right? And I don't have the right perspective. But I want it to be a global success that, mainstream newspapers write about it, right? I don't have that yet. And that's
Me too.
probably the
I agree with you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So maybe this is it. Should I tell you about it a little bit? Should I tell you what's so special?
Yeah, I want to know now because I don't really look before too much at the. I mean, I look at the general product, but
Yeah.
I just said yes because I know you, so I didn't really check the product.
That's perfectly fine. So this is a unique product right now because it's an AI landing page builder. It's actually a complete website builder, not
Oh yeah,
only
I
the
remember.
landing
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
But contrary to everything that's out there, I don't sell you sawdust. I actually sell you a fully working production website with everything that you need. And I think the big problem right now is you got, Lovable, V0, all these big VC funded companies that say, well, you could build anything, right? But they don't do any SEO optimization. They don't do, OG images. They don't do a sitemap. They don't do the
It's for having
basics.
fun building.
Exactly. But people buy into it and think, I can make my own thing and I can publish it and it's ready. No, it's not. It's far from like the difficult part about a website is even knowing all these things that you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Even knowing you need certain meta tags, you need JSON LD, you need canonical URLs. How do you do
What did you say?
performance?
JSON LD? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
No, what is it actually?
So JSON LD is a special standard made by Google that allows you to enrich page information with metadata. So when you search for something and you see like a rating on the search page, that is from the JSON LD. Like you could do products in there, you could do news articles. A lot of people have no idea that even exists. And imagine how important this is when you're on Google and you get, 30% more real estate for your results because you have this rating underneath.
This snippet thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is how you get it. But people don't know, and they see the marketing on these and they think, yeah, I'm ready. But that's the other thing is that you need to be pretty good at prompting to use those. So with Page AI, you don't need to be good at prompting. You need to describe your business, and you could give it any sort of features or things that you think make you special. But that's it. You don't need to tell it how to build the thing. It's always going to build something cool. It's going to design it for you, and it's going to write copy. Now, here's the difference. All of these are general purpose app builders, right? They tell you can build any app. And that means they're all average. So even if I get a landing page that looks kind of all right, it's not going to convert. I have spent 6 months tweaking this thing, writing prompts. I have, seriously, this is pretty insane, hundreds of files with prompts to make this thing convert, right?
Yeah.
So then you think, well, but how do you know what converts and what doesn't convert? I used it to build the Page AI website. And this is quite crazy. Since I launched, which is just 3 weeks ago, we have almost 4,000 signups, right?
Oh my God, wow.
Our landing page conversion is 25%. 1 in 4 people that visit sign up for the product. I don't even know how to explain this. It's, some companies have 5% and they're really happy with
that's
it.
exactly, yeah.
It's
and
absolutely
where do
insane.
the only question is, where do they come from, these people?
I've hit everything I could launch platform wise, including LaunchDay.
Oh yeah.
That has helped a lot. But early on, what has boosted this completely was Taft. There is an AI for that. There is an AI for that, Taft. AI directory. hugely beneficial early on. We get so many signups from them. And I think we hit like a good day as well. We were included in the newsletter. Super nice. Product hunt launch went pretty good. We weren't featured, but I think on that day we got 250 signups just in one day.
Amazing.
And after that, those are pretty good backlinks to have. After that, we started to get a lot of Google results, and a lot of the Google the people that find us on Google convert very well so far. And I've added just one ad, which is on the Page AI keyword itself, because this is a really bad product name, by the way. So I figured it sounds cool,
For
but
Google SEO, it sounds quite problematic.
it's horrible. It's horrible because this is close to landing page AI, right? So what am I competing with? I'm competing with Anthropic. I'm competing with Lovable. I'm competing with Vercel. It's really a bad idea. So listen, I thought, well, let me just put an ad on Page AI, like the exact match on Page AI. And man, I think I've hit some sort of jackpot with that, because it somehow is getting a lot of impressions, but I'm paying $2-3 a month, a day, and 30. And if you multiply it by 30, that's like $90 a month. And I think we're getting easily 100 signups from Google alone because of this. And the cost per click is something like 0.0 something cents. It is so incredibly low. I don't know if you've tried Google Ads. You can easily pay.
I know it's low. Yeah, when I tried, it was like 50 cents or €1
Yeah,
for my
yeah.
logo project.
You can pay $1 per click if you really target. So, a combination of a lot of things. It's not. The ad now doesn't do that much, but it got us traction in the beginning, and it got some initial users. And I think the only explanation that I have, we have a lot of direct now. The only explanation that I have is that it's picking up steam. People are sharing this, and it's getting to have a little bit of a brand. It's really early. Like I'm telling you, it's 3 weeks, right? It's really early. Like this in a brand lifetime is nothing, but it's looking very promising. And I think I know why. I know because it is a combination of a lot of very hard things. And for those that get it, they get it. Setting up all of these things, getting a good design, getting conversion. That's the full package.
Show us the landing page, because I remember it now, and it was shocking how much thought got into it. It's like basically a 10x AI product in terms of how deep it goes. It really struck me very quickly when I saw it.
Yeah. So first of all, the way I've built the landing page for Page AI was I got 10 early demos before I even announced that I'm building the product. I completely built it in stealth, which I know for building in public, that's like, oh, you did what? And they all gave me advice on what's wrong on the landing page, right? I mean, some of it I listened to, but I was reading between the lines of what they want.
This headline is so good, man. This headline. No time to code a website, just describe it. Oh my God, such a good headline.
Yeah, the next one is get a production ready, right? That's what I told you. Get a production ready. No one else can promise this because it won't be true. None of them can deliver a production website. They just don't want to do that. And you know why? Because if they were to deliver a production website, you wouldn't spend weeks burning tokens on their platforms so they can charge you more. That is the exact reason. I'm not doing that. I'm giving you, the full package. I'm giving you what's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So that is what I start with here. Then customize it, download or deploy anywhere. There's no lock-in. You get the code, you do what you want. You run it locally. That's the other advantage. Like a lot of these don't give you the full thing. Right. There's a demo in here. The demo is, a one-to-one with the app. It allows you to kind of go through the flow. It shows you how the agents work, because this is not just, one prompt. We actually have a lot of agents that are specialized in one job. So for example, you have some that do SEO and do the basic metadata, right? Then you have some that do a wireframe, and this is kind of a thing that I think it's unique to Page AI. Based on this wireframe, we then enhance the copy, and then we do a design for you. So it's a little bit getting into the creative studio side, right?
No, but you should definitely. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we do images, we pick fonts, we pick color themes. This is something that it was just expanded. We have over 500 combinations now, and they were all handpicked and categorized. So basically, when you write a prompt, it knows, what works for the type of application that it figures out from that prompt and chooses, a relevant theme for it. You completely customize it, of course. I mean, it's not gonna get it 100% right, but when it does, it just feels like magic, man. All right, and then it creates the full landing page. This is one part that you only know if you buy the product and use it. When you create this, you cannot navigate to subpages and so on, but when you actually deploy it, it will create all of the subpages. And if you have some blog posts somewhere in here, it's going to create blog posts for you as well. There's sample blog posts. I mean, you're probably going to have to get in, but it just kind of shows you this power of agents doing individual tasks and the full package.
Just one thing I'm going to mention. It's very... but I've seen a few people who applied to LaunchDay and they show me their landing page and it's fake testimonials because it's generated by AI.
Yeah.
And that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way because, I get it. AI is going to do that. But then you end up lying to people if you just ship this. I'm just, I'm not saying in any in any way against you, but I'm just noticing it and just, I don't know why. What do you think of that?
I think you shouldn't include them. So when I launched, I took out all of the social proof that wasn't true. I had it ready, and when I launched the first day, I launched on Twitter. So for example, this one, right? Let me see if I can share.
Yeah, you waited for people to reply and you just replaced it quickly.
Exactly. So, but I started with nothing and then I slowly replaced them, during 24 hours, basically replaced everything. So I don't have a good, it's not that nice to lie about this. So yeah, everything I put in is actually from real people, and they are on Product Hunt or
no, I meant I meant when you generate the website for people.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. It will of course generate testimonial content as well, and I don't encourage that you ship with that, of course. For sure. But the component is there when you. That's basically it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna wrap this up. There's, I'm not going to go through the entire landing page. There's quite a lot into it and a lot of conversion cues, but it's basically something that Page AI is something that plans, researches, designs, codes, and we can get into the code as well because I'm really excited about the code part.
Yeah, please, because I was starting to think this is next generation of boilerplate. That's how it feels to me in a way.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. So there is some boilerplate element to it. And I think what people really get wrong about AI is that they use it as a hammer for all the solutions that we have solved already. Okay, so a lot of the things are faster and better with a CLI, with a tool that just writes some files. You don't need to create it from scratch. And you don't get as many mistakes as well. So a lot of the foundational work is, as you say, boilerplate, because we write, the overall system, we architect it and write it by hand because we know how to do a professional website. And the AI will only do that if you prompt it correctly, right? But we don't want people to have to do that. People don't know that. So we do it for you. But then The code itself, I'm just gonna quickly go through it. It's all using maintainable
Maybe
components.
zoom in a little bit if you can.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So the code itself, it's using reusable components that we have documented individually. And this is also something that you realize once you deploy that when you generate stuff with AI, it's very hard to maintain. You basically end up having to prompt AI more and more because you don't understand that code anymore. This one is made so you can actually see the code and understand it and modify it by yourself as well, and by AI. Because what we've done, and this is really crazy, I want to show you. I'm going to switch the tab here. Boom. So we have this documentation website. I look at this. These are the amount of components that we use behind the scenes. And if I just pick a random amount of these all work with each other in certain ways, right? They all can be combined, and they all have, primitives that can be shared between each other. So you can create probably hundreds of thousands of different variations of this. So let me just pick one of them and show you how it looks. First of all, you can see the component, and you can also see how it looks with different fonts. This is the documentation side, right? You could try this right now. You can pick any of the 500 themes, and you see it in real time, right? Applied to the documentation. You have the code samples, right? But also the AI has those code samples, right?
Yeah.
And this is just one component. Look how many examples we have on the right. It basically has
lots of variations.
Lots of variations, with social proof, with what I've talked before. It essentially has all the recipes you need to use this component, and this is just one component, and it has like 20 usages that are documented. It could have a newsletter, and just like the other ones, you could just customize it, right? So the code that you get, I'm just gonna go back to the code.
Yeah.
Is a combination of the creativity of AI, the robustness of these components, but also custom components. And, AI is good at just writing HTML sometimes if it needs to.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be a custom component, but some of the stuff is just fitting in so much nicer when you have the system behind the scenes, right? So the hope is that this will become a foundation that you just build and continue to build. It's not like you need to start all over and prompt it again and create a new website every week, right? And I think that's what the other AI companies want you to do. You go back, you spend more tokens, you recreate it. But this one's built to last. You know what I mean?
And so I'm trying to take everything in, and because when you show it this way, it looks like the ultimate, Tailwind UI generator or boilerplate generator, but it's much more than that, right? It's doing all the research for you. Can you take a bit of a higher view and show the whole vision beyond the code? Because I'm just because I feel like it's interesting to see how deep you went with the code, but I guess you did that with other parts.
Yeah. So it goes throughout. The first thing that we do is actually look for competitors and to try to fit, your idea into the current landscape, right, of the web. And based on that, we will pick a name. We'll pick, the correct positioning or to the best of the abilities,
positioning what you're describing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then the copy will be based on that, but also the design. So obviously sometimes the positioning influences the design. If you position yourself as a cheap alternative to some service, you're going to have, yellows and certain affordances that, you have the Ryanair website, right? That you go in there and think, oh, this is going to be cheap, right? Yeah. And that it's psychology, design psychology and all that. So We do all of that, but we also try to fit the copy within that, and we also then allow you to customize a lot of it. Now, the vision is that, first of all, you have site-wide customization, as I showed you. So
What does that mean?
So that means that this is the website that was generated, right? If I want, I pop up, the font selector, and the entire website changes in real time in front of me, right? So all of the AI products also don't want you to do this because this doesn't use any tokens.
Yeah, this is just front end. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is sort of taking the best of both worlds. Now we have three worlds, actually. We have the world of professional design, copywriting, so on. It takes the best of coding development, traditional web development, and the best of AI, which is the creative part that figures out, okay, you need these sections, you need, these images, all the images are also generated. And then at the end of it, you could just go in and modify it any way you like. And the vision is that right now you can do these sort of style customizations, but the vision is you can go in here and just say redo this section and change it to another section, or add a pricing section here, and you can keep building. We don't have that yet, and it's almost there. It's in the testing phases. But the vision is this is a new kind of website builder that ultimately doesn't have the lock-in that you have. And it does design for you, it does copy, kind of brings in all of the advantages that you have with AI, but in one package. And at the end, you can also own this. So currently we don't charge any subscription. When you press the download or deploy, it's your code. It's you own it, right?
What does deploy do?
Deploy actually creates a Git repository on GitHub, to be more precise, and within, let's say, 3 minutes, creates a live deployment on Vercel that you can. So it is sort of very quick way to get directly into production, but you can then clone that GitHub repository and continue to work on it.
And so this generates public-facing websites right now?
Right now, they're all private. So all that you generate is not public, but if you press the deploy, then they will be made public.
It focuses on the marketing part of an app.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. So it focuses on the marketing / public version of your website. That's right.
So that's also a competitor to Webflow, for example.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So obviously, after you get the ability to change everything, what will naturally come, but it has to come in steps because it's a small bootstrap company.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But the next thing would be, well, we can also host it for you. You don't have to deploy it if you don't want. I mean, you can. It's your code, but we can also host it for you for a monthly recurring fee, right? And that's an obvious thing to add when we get there.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of doing things in small steps. So this was a lot simpler when I launched it. So it's been quite a few iterations. Some of the things that make a landing page kind of put together, we've added along the way from user feedback. Okay, we didn't start with a lot of these things. I can show you some examples. So do you see the documentation site now?
Yeah.
So one of the things that makes CTA stand out and on brand is these text effects that you can apply, to highlight words, to make emphasis.
Underline.
Yeah. So this thing we didn't have when we launched, right? And it actually does a lot to a landing page. another thing that we didn't have is what, well, I'm not sure if that's what they call, but I call them leading pills. And these are, these small pills that you can add, to any feature section. And it's the same as I showed you before. All of these examples, so AI can read them, you can copy paste them, you can use them in Cursor or whatever as well. And you can see how they apply and how they can get combined to all the other components in the library. So stuff like this has been continuously adding and improving. Also effects, effects is it's an arguably, I don't believe they convert a lot, but effects can add personality to your website, right? So
it can make it seem like you have more money.
Exactly, right? So these are automatically applied. If what you prompt is modern tech website, you might get one of these.
In your documentation,
effects.
Does it explain what are good use cases so that the AI can figure it out? How does that work?
No, that is the part in the prompts that is proprietary, if you want, to our system. Like that is the juice. I don't know if that will ever be public, but that is essentially the
but I'm just asking how it works. So basically you have prompts, and when you add a new component, you add to your prompt something?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I see.
So adding a new component is quite a lot of work because you also need to think, how will it interact with everything else?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So that is quite tricky, and they all have different props and what is allowed if you use it in this component. Can it have a background? Can it have this or that? But essentially, the secret sauce of this is all of these prompts that has the business logic of what you can combine and how and what's a good idea, right? Because you cannot just slap some social proof in the footer and say, yeah, we have social proof. Great. Well, that's not going to do anything, right? It needs to be in the right place.
Yeah. Man, I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something, but I forgot.
You can see how
really
excited
cool,
I am
man.
about
I'm
this.
just like super quiet because I'm like, I like it. I'm impressed. Yeah. I feel like this is one way that we should be going in terms of builders, is like making all these things accessible, and that's what you're doing. You're making it very accessible. All this value that us builders, we have already because we know how to use whatever tool, you're making it accessible. You're making it very, because as you said before, like tools like V0 and shit, it's for builders. But for someone who's a marketer, how the fuck they unlock that value, or some shit like that. And that's, that's the people, there's like 99% of people are people like them, not like us. So that's way better idea and way more useful for humanity.
Yeah. So imagine for the, the new generation of vibe coders that we see, they also reach the end and ask the same question. Okay, so I've built all this. I like how it looks. It does the things that I set it out to do. So how do I cross this bridge from building it to actually making a real production app? And right now, there's no answer for that.
Yeah,
there's no. Yeah, and there will be, and I think it is going in that direction. I just hope I'm one of the first to crack it, and there will be others for sure. It's going to be highly.
It seems like you're on the path, man. Holy shit, that's cool. And you can always have new, because like I'm from before WordPress. I remember when WordPress came out and it became popular, and then it became leading, and then you had all this wave of Webflow, Wix, all these things that I hate personally, because as someone who likes building manually, I don't like these things, but I see the value.
Yeah.
And so it seems like one new iteration of that, in a way, like a public thing, like the insane success of things like Webflow and Wix. And it makes me think a bit of that.
Yeah. There's a lot of work, but what I'm excited about is exactly this, that you say that this tool in this exact form just wasn't possible. I think not even 1 year ago. It's not something that we could have had. We had all these drag and drop website builders and so on, and they all had some really ugly limitations, and you ended up hating it because you couldn't do the thing that you wanted to do. So with AI, it can do everything, but I feel like it needs to be done to the best of its abilities. So use AI where it makes sense to use AI for creative tasks, for thinking things, for researching things, for doing copy, not for the foundational things, right? That's just not a good use case right
Not for
now.
the vision or something, although it can help you. Yeah.
No, exactly.
It's helpful to refine a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Once you have something, it's great to refine the thing that you have. Yeah, so that's exactly it. It's a grand vision. There are many steps to get there, but it's looking pretty good. I'm super excited. So what can I tell you?
And I love it. I love that this time it's me interviewing you. So interesting. So, yeah, one last thing I wanted to mention is, why is all this AI focused on coding though? Why is it seems like 99% of AI is used for fucking coding?
It's easy, man. It's people.
I don't mean you. I mean just even the AI, even like Anthropic, even OpenAI.
People want to fire developers, man. They're expensive. They're lazy. They're arrogant. If you can fire half of them,
in that case, people would focus on designers more.
Yeah, it's obviously a big industry with a lot of money involved. I think that's it. So there's no.
But isn't that just because we're all developers, so that's what we want to do? So that's
there's
the focus.
A part of it. There was a part
and
of it.
It's so much engineering driven. All these AI things.
Yeah. There's definitely a part of it that's that if that's all then you're gonna build something like that. There's definitely a major part of that. But if you take a step back, you can see it's very expensive, and if either we can increase the productivities and to make it more profitable to do software development, or reduce the people that have to do it, or do more with just one person. And I think that's where we're headed, that you have the one, in indie making, we've been having this for years, right? But everyone else is ultra specialized, like on one thing. And now finally, I think it's possible to have a true full stack that does the whole thing and is actually pretty productive at it too, right? So that we didn't have too much.
I had another question. Is like, how did you ship all this shit? As a famous non-shipper, I'm in shock. You seem like you work a lot.
I work a lot. I did have some help. So now this is one of my first collaboration with another developer. But also a lot of the stuff has been built over a long time. So the components.
It seemed like maybe you took work from previous projects, because you did a lot of shit like this. So
exactly. Yeah. So each project, built up the next project, and then it accumulated into this that allowed.
That's what it feels like when I went to your website. When I look at it, it looks like this guy just put all the energy that he put for 7 years, and now every piece comes and now this thing is just a fucking Optimus Prime. This thing cannot be stopped, and it's just gonna destroy everything on its wake. That feels so fucking strong, man. Yeah, that's how it feels.
I love that, man. I love
that. I get this vibe from Danny Postma websites also sometimes. Like it's very also even Dominique Sobe. Like it feels like you feel like there's like layers and layers. It's like, and you can tell because it's precise, because every section, if you look, it's so deep. You can look like how deep it goes. And it's like, wow, this thing, it's like industrial. Like, it's like this thing could have been built by a team in 1 year or one indie hacker in 7. But this is looking like a beast. It's a beast.
It is,
Yeah.
man. I mean, I can't comment. It's yeah, you've nailed it. That's speechless.
Cool, man. Well, that was a hell of an interview. I'm glad to have had you on.
Well, thank you for having
And
me. Been looking
I hope
forward to this.
LaunchDay can bring you. I have no idea now. You're going so good. I'm like, well, we'll see. I hope it can bring you some shit. But it should, because even in the first batch, some people had quite a bit of sales. If they already had quite an advanced product and quite an audience, it just reminded people plus the discount.
Yeah.
So that should do it. But
Man,
yeah.
let me tell you, I'm really hyped about it, I think. And I'm happy you shipped it. I think, you can see that you have a vision for it. I hope you follow through, that the shipping is just the start, right? So I think you follow through, you execute on that vision, and it's going to be great. I'm really happy to be, one of the first that, I can say in 10 years when you're huge and, the New York Times was writing about you, I was one of the first who launched there, like way
and
back
you
in
even
the day.
paid twice. So
And
you
even
deserve
paid
some
twice
special
for it.
because you paid the early access in September. And to be honest, I don't remember everybody who paid early access. I offered refunds along the way because I was delaying.
Yeah.
But then, you said, hey, can I be in the next LaunchDay or something? And I said, yeah, sure. And I sent you the link to pay and you just paid like the $100, like the new price, the non-early price. And then a few days later, I go onto my lemon squeezy thing and I see you and I'm like, holy shit, he already paid.
So that's how much I believe in you, man. That says it right there, right? No questions asked.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Well, I think this is going to be big. I really wish. So, yeah, I was really glad to have you and, good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.